Hey guys, welcome back. It's me, Gimpy, and I'm here with Leaving Earth for you. Before we get started with that, if you haven't seen it yet, I popped up my next giveaway for this month. It is At Any Cost. Took me a second to remember the name. At Any Cost, Mets 1870 by GMT. Like usual, comment, subscribe on that video, not this video, on that video. To take and be entered for your chance to win, and I'll do the drawing at the end of the month like I usually do. Now, I'm still working on that project I've been working on. I wish I could tell you guys what it is, but you will see it soon. And it's got me buried in the war game, the tactical stuff, and I'm just swamped with that all day long as I'm working at it. So in the evening, I'm kind of just playing lax games to relax, and I wanted to do something a little different. And my first thought was V Commandos, do a quick playthrough on that. But it's like everyone had put up a few videos about V Commandos recently. I don't know. It's been out for a little while. It's been on my shelf for a long while. And it seems like everyone was doing it. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do something else. Because I wanted to do something a little different than some of the normal things that I've been doing. So I decided on Leaving Earth. Now, I'd had an interest in a game called High Frontier, but I have not been able to track down a copy of that game. It's impossible to find. It's got a third edition out, but there was like a few copies on eBay for exorbitant prices that people were trying to gouge others for. And supposedly the guy who's developed it is going to be releasing a fourth edition at some point. I might try to get it at that point. And it's a very, very in-depth space exploration game. It looks really awesome, and it looks like it's got, solitaire play, everything with it, but I just couldn't get it, and I wanted a space-esque game, build up my my space agency and try to get out to the planets and see how well I do. And in the process of looking for that one, I stumbled on this one. Now, I have done an unboxing for it, so if you guys want to see what all comes in the game, go check out that video. This game actually has a fair amount of videos on it. Surprisingly, for how hard it is to get, the developer of it, Luminaris, how you pronounce it, is not primarily a board game company, and they produce this game themselves. Now, it's got a neat little box for it. Actually, this is the expansion, one of the expansions, Outer Planets. I've got this. I don't have their newest expansion, which is Space Stations, which I actually now want after playing the game. I ordered Leaving Earth and Outer Planets at the same time, and I was like, well, maybe I'll get it quicker if I just order those two, but I probably should have just gone ahead and got Stations at the same time. Since they produce their own games, they're slower at producing their own games. And I don't want to hate on them for that, but when you order the game, be prepared to wait like 2-3 months before you get it. You're not going to get it quick. So I know if I ordered Stations now, I wouldn't be seeing it until probably towards the end of the summer. And first, that's kind of keeping me from ordering it because I'm wrapped up in other things. But the game is excellent. If you're looking for a space game, especially one that you can play solitaire, you're going to have a hard time finding one better than this. Now, that Outer Expansions box that I just showed you, most of what you see here is the base game, just Leaving Earth itself. Now, these cards all around here are where you're going out exploring. You got Earth, Mercury, the Moon, Venus, Mars. This is solar radiation over here. But the Outer Planet extends it way far, like double this out to the other side of my table. All right, is how far it goes, even farther, actually. And it extends the length of the game from 20 turns into 30 turns. So there's a whole bunch going on with it. So if you've played this and you want more, Outer Planets gets it for you. Now, in this little playthrough I'm doing, I'm going to have some of the Outer Planet stuff in it. And if I could get the cards on screen, I would have the Outer Planets lined up. But there's no way I could get my camera in such a way to take and get all those cards. So I just went with the basic ones that you normally would see in the base game. But I do have some of the expanded items, proton rockets and aero braking and some new capsules and stuff, all that stuff that you'll see. I actually do want to thank a guy that I met on Steam, the video game service, because he had worked on a digital version of this, and I was able to get some help from him to help digitize the files so I could take and put them on screen for you guys so you guys could see the cards and stuff easier, like I like to do with my tactical games when I'm playing it. It'll make it easier for you guys to see. But like I said, the purpose of it is you're going to pick your space agency. I went obviously with NASA, and these are little cheat sheets for your mass and all the other stuff that we'll get into as we start pushing our way out. And then you've got your little lines of spaceships. Now NASA is supposed to actually be blue, but I went with red because you guys can see that a hell of a lot easier than a blue one on a bunch of blue cards. So that makes it easier for you guys. Now, with the expansion, I have 5 spaceship cards that I can send out, but technically you can send out as many as you want. You're not limited by what comes in the box, either with your components, which I've got set over here, I'll show you in a sec, component cards, or your spaceships. You can use stand-ins if you want, which is why this is such a good solo game, because you have all the other space agencies. And if you're playing by yourself, if you want to have 20 ships, you've got the extra different colors of little spacecraft tokens that you can take and use. And this game plays perfect. It's almost like it was designed for solo play, but it's perfect for group play as well. It'd be a great game on one of my games for you and her list. It's not that hard for people who aren't into learning the rules, like my wife, who hates to try to figure out a new board game but likes to play them. It's a good game for kids to get them into math and sciences and things of that nature. Get them thinking, okay, well, how can I get here? Because there's a basic formula in the game of how you're going to get your spaceships around the solar system and potentially back if they don't blow up or die. And I knew it a second ago. It's mass times difficulty equals fuel consumption, basically. And the cards have difficulties on them. That's where all the different numbers are. I'll put one of the little cards on the screen for you. And you have to take and multiply your mass. All right. So let me grab one of these little cards here. One Juno rocket, one of your basic rockets up there in the top left, that's its mass. For all the different items, they're all going to have mass. So a mass of 1 trying to leave Earth, if you're just going suborbital, the difficulty is 3. So you're going to need 3 thrusts. So 1 times 3 equals 3. And there in the bottom right of the card, you can see its thrust. That's what the number with the arrow above it is, 4. So a Juno rocket can shoot itself into suborbital, all right? Or if you were going into suborbital with like a probe, one of our little probes here, that has a mass of 1, a small rocket and a probe, they have a mass of 2. 2 times 3 equals 6. So actually, I did the math on that wrong. That's not going to work. You're going to need 2 rockets. Gimpy's bad math is going to take and shine in this game. I guarantee you that one. Strangely, I was actually really good at math and science at school, but it's like that landmine crushing my brain didn't do me any favors. But yeah, this game is just great for that. Each turn, you're going to take and get your funding. You're going to get $25 million to take and spend, and it doesn't hold over, okay? So whatever you don't spend, you lose, and you only get that $25 million. You can do as much or as little as you want each turn, but you're only going to ever have $25 million each turn. You have to take and use that to buy your rockets, buy your astronauts, buy your research, buy your components, buy your probes. Everything that you have to buy in just small little increments and build it up. And if it were just that, the game would be good. But the real kicker for this game is your little outcome cards, okay? These little cards, when you do research, right? So say I decide to research Juno rockets, all right? I'm gonna research that rocket. I have to pay $10 million to start this research. And you have to do this. You can buy the rocket, but you can't take and start shooting it off until you've researched them. You'll take 3 of those outcome cards and you'll place it on the rocket. And each time you launch that rocket, you'll have to take and flip over one of your cards. And we see here is a success. Okay, bam. It worked. But you see it says $10 to remove this card. Well, you're going to want to do that because as you stack these researches, the different researches up with your little outcome cards, you'll have 3 on there, and you need to burn through all 3 of them to have nothing but automatic successes left. Now, if you've only got 1 success left on there, you can just pull that off. But as long as you have more than 1 card and you don't know what it is, you could potentially have a failure or a major failure. And you can see on here, rocket's damaged, explosion, it destroys it. And you have to research everything between your rockets, between thrusters, rendezvous, landing, surveying, re-entry, aerobrake. Every aspect of the game has to be researched, and it's going to have those 3 cards on them. So not only are you paying for your equipment, you're paying basically for the science behind it. And you can make, what's the word I'm looking for? You can take chances here and there by not fully researching something and trying to launch your mission, but you don't want to be trying to pull back a sample from the moon and find out then you've got a failure on one of your rockets and everything that you just sent up into space blew up and your astronauts sent off into God knows where. On top of all that, you have to take and worry about supplies, because if your astronauts are anywhere besides Earth at the end of a turn, you got to feed them. They've got to eat. So you've got to take and send supplies up into space as well. And the cool part is, since you do have access to multiple spaceships, you can take and send more than 1 spaceship. So you can send like one into Earth orbit that's, a probe, and it doesn't have any rockets left on it, but it's got a bunch of supplies just sitting there. That way you don't have to launch those supplies when you're sending your manned spacecrafts up. You can take and do a rendezvous after you've researched it, meet up, hey, grab your supplies, and then head off, and it's less mass you're having to take and send out. That's part of the reason I really want to get the space station's expansion for this, is because when you're trying to get farther out, you're going to need those space stations. You're going to need those ports to take and get out there. And then I'm sure it's got some extra cool stuff, supplies or whatever in it to help you make those longer journeys. Because in outer planets, the different turn track, I'm using the basic turn track on this playthrough of it, but the one for outer planets actually has rendezvous nodes for the different planets, and you have to plan your mission out in advance, because you can't just launch there. You have to launch for Jupiter or Saturn during a very specific window so you can make the cut at the right time. The game, it's just got so much going for it. It's a simple game at its nature, at its heart, but it's so in depth with all the different stuff that you're trying to do. And listen to me, I've been rambling for like 15 minutes now. Let me pull my light over just a little bit farther, brighten this up a little bit. Okay, so let's take and get started. We're going right into it, turn 1, and we're going to just start with some research. Some of the times I've played this before, I am not claiming to be an expert at this. All right, I guarantee you guys I'm going to make some goofs. Not at the game, I mean like scientific wise on this stuff. Maybe not the best course of action, but we're gonna try to do what we can. All right, I know I'm gonna need Juno rockets, Atlas rockets. I'm gonna need pretty much all the rockets. I tried to skip the small rockets, the Juno rockets at one time, and it didn't really work out for me. So let's do this. Let's take and research Juno rockets. So that's going to cost us 10 million to take and add that to our little queue. I got that down over here. And we'll go ahead and research Atlas rockets as well. That's another 10. And we'll buy some that we can take and send up. What do we want to buy? What do we want to buy? Let's take... I've only got 5 million left. Let's take and buy 3 Juno rockets. Actually, let's just go ahead and buy 5. So I've got a couple Juno rockets left over when I get done testing them. So I've got 3 Juno rockets here. That's all my money. Now I know what you're thinking, right? Is like, okay, let's go ahead and shoot these off and test them. Well, that doesn't really work because when I test these, let me grab my outcome cards off my little deck. And there's a bunch of outcome cards for this thing. It definitely came with plenty. So we'll grab 3. Make sure you keep them face down for Juno rockets. And we'll grab 3 for Atlas rockets. All right, now they're ready to test. But yeah, I need to have money on hand because a failure is actually cheaper than a success to get rid of. And it's made that way on purpose because you're like, oh, well, it's a success. It's not that big of a deal. And it tempts you to leave that card in the deck, which prevents you from finishing off your research. So, all right, I'm going to take and let the next turn go, get my funding back. So we're 1957 now. I've got a fresh 25 million. Oh, wrong side. 25 million. Yeah, and it's paper money. But I don't like paper money any more than you guys do, but we'll live with it. For the quality of the game, they do good cards. They do good everything else. I like the little wooden components and everything they got with it. That's what their little spaceships are, is little wooden components. So I'll forgive them for the paper money. We're going to take and we're just going to fire off 1 Juno rocket here from Earth just so we can do a test. So we're going to take and fire it. We're going to flip. We got a success. That's cool, but I was almost hoping for a failure so it'd be cheaper. So we'll pay our 10 million to get rid of that one. And we'll fire off another Juno rocket to take and do another outcome. We've got another success. And that takes care of that. I paid another 10 million to get rid of that. And we're going to fire off 1 more rocket because I've only got 5 left. But regardless, if it's a success, it automatically comes off, or if it's a failure, I've got enough to pay it off. And it is, major failure, and it destroys my rocket. That's fine. It took the last of my money, unfortunately. Now, if I had drawn one of those successes, like if it had been success, major failure, and then success, it would have been better because I would have had 5 million left over, because that last success, like I said, I could have got rid of for free. As it was, I had to pay out the nose the whole way. And it is what it is. But I've got 2 rockets left, and I have fully researched Juno rockets. Now we're going to take and go to our next turn, 1958. So you guys can see actually how quickly it can take and end up where you're burning through your turns. We're already on turn 3. Just like that, right? So you have to make good decisions early on to make sure you're not screwing yourself later. Oh, I forgot. I'm so used to playing by myself that I forgot to do this. I gotta draw my cards. All right, so 4 easy missions, because you get missions for the game, right? And we'll grab a couple of mediums. They go all the way up to hard. And let's see what we got. All right, our missions are Lunar Survey, Man in Space, Man in Orbit, Artificial Satellite, Space Station, and Man on the Moon. All right, we got Neil Armstrong and stuff. And you can see down the bottom left, it shows the point value that you get for doing these. Now, I did a easy or a normal set, which is 4 easy missions and 2 medium missions. You can do it all the way from like very easy, where you're doing nothing but easy missions, to hard, where you're doing majority hard missions. Your goal when you're playing solitaire is to get half of the point value completed. Most of the time I don't do that. But let's see. That's 6, 10, 12, 24, 30. So I've got to get 15 points worth of these missions done to take and consider myself successful as far as this is concerned. I could do that by just doing the 2 medium ones. This isn't too hard. Man in Space at the start of the year. So basically I would just have to get here to Earth orbit with a spacecraft with a guy in it who has supplies so he doesn't die, and have the turn tick over. That would do. Getting a man on the moon, though, is a lot harder because you have to go all the way from here over to here. And that would complete it, just getting there. I don't have to get back. So That's not too bad. One of the things the rulebook and others suggest is when you're planning your missions to take and plan them backwards. So figure out what you need, like from your end point, and then start working your way there to kind of play it out. But you guys will see as I buy the rockets. But we'll see how this goes. Some of the stuff is easy. Reveal the moon, so that would be in the process. Man to space and back, that's not too bad because you just have to go up into Earth orbit, and it's a 0 difficulty coming back. But just to get a man to Earth and back, I have to take and research re-entry. I have to research life support. I have to research landing. Oh, and all the rockets and buy all this. So you can see there's a lot just to get from here to here. And obviously I don't know the most effective or efficient way to do it. I just kind of piddle fart around and see what happens. I will say one of the things that kind of makes it a little easier is these decks of maneuver plannings came with the Outer Planets expansion. There's actually a bunch of them. I appreciate them putting all of these in there. You're going to use these more for the farther missions, though, when you're going out way past these areas, because these aren't too hard to figure out. Okay, so we got our next bit of funding. We've done our research. We've got a couple of Juno rockets. We've got Juno rockets done. Let's see. I want to get a man up into space. Now, I can take, just by having a capsule, like something that holds astronauts in space, I can do research on life support. So I don't have to take and send an astronaut to space to do that. Because if it fails, like if life support goes out, you know, that's it. You're done. You know, the astronaut's killed. I don't want to lose my boys just yet. So, I don't know. What do we want to buy? That's the thing. It's like you want to buy all your research and you want to buy all your rockets, and you're trying to like min-max this to figure out what's the best way to go with it. Okay. I know to get the man on the moon, I'm going to need those things. So let's take and shoot for getting a guy to space, and then see if we can shoot for getting a guy all the way to the moon. So I know I'm going to need life support, so we're going to research that. Grab my card here. Grab our life support card here. We will put down some success or failure cards on it. And I've got these just tucked down over here to the left, because I'll show you guys what's going to happen. I want you to see where we're going. All right, so we're going to do that. And I'm going to need... I don't have to worry about surveying, or, well, no, I'm going to have to land on the moon. We'll worry about landing after I get him up there. So let's do rendezvous as well, because that definitely helps to be able to split your spaceships apart, create new ones, old ones, stuff like that. So let's take and put our success or failures on that card. Now I've got 5 left. I can buy some probes to start some exploration, or I can start stocking up supplies. I can buy some more rockets. I'll tell you what, let's take this last 5 and buy an Atlas rocket, because I know I'm going to need one. And you guys can see how much bigger that Atlas rocket is. That's 27 thrust, but that's 4 weight. See, that's the thing, is you got to take and account for the rocket's weight as well when you're going up. So you might figure out, okay, where I need 4 thrust, and you'll add a Juno rocket, but that Juno rocket adds that 1 mass that you have to ship as well, which, so, you know, your fuel weighs something, so you have to account for that. And then that throws off what you were thinking before. And you're like, oh, well, now I need 5 thrust, and it just changes out your whole mass. So I've got that. I don't think there's anything. No, I don't want to try to do research when I don't have money. So we'll go to our next turn, 1959. Grab my, and I usually end up just taking the same 3 bills and just sliding them back and forth. All right. Let's see here. We've got some rockets. I'm going to need some probes. Well, if I take and shoot the Vostok, which I think is, no, ooh, this is a little more expensive, but it's lighter. This Explorer capsule here, that is, no, the Vostok's a capsule. This is a payload. Damn. Okay, this is not what I thought it was. The Eagle is lighter. I can shoot that, but see where it says requirement there? Sorry, I'm kind of in my light. It says required landing, so to buy this, I have to have researched landing. And I have not, so I can't buy that yet, unfortunately. So we're going to have to buy a Vostok instead, because I have researched rendezvous. Okay, so this is $2. Let's take and pay for that. Okay, so I've got a Vostok capsule. I'm going to put that right there. And that signifies my first spaceship is my Vostok. Now, what am I going to launch it with? To get to Earth orbit with it, I'm going to need to take and do 8 thrust. 8 thrust times 2 is 16. And the Atlas rocket weighs 4, so add that together, 6. 6 times 8 is 48. Damn! Let's look at our little payload cheat sheet here. No, that's ion thruster. Okay, let's look at this one instead. There's a couple. One of these is from the Outer Planets one. Okay, so difficulty is an 8. I'm looking at a Soyuz to really get there. Soyuz is only going to launch a payload of 1 at a difficulty of 8. Damn, I really need to use a Saturn rocket almost to get it there. Damn, it can't really be that much. Told you, Gimpy's math is shit. Okay, I was wanting to launch that too in there. I want to get it to orbit, but I guess I can just send it to suborbital. But the thing is it doesn't stay, okay? There's a little icon here on the suborbital flight. And what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to research life support, okay? And the only way to do that is to get it actually out in space and let it stay there. No, actually, I think I can. I would have to do it on this turn because it's going to crash at the end of the turn. Okay, so I can do it that way. I launch it off Earth, up into suborbital. I research life support, and then it comes crashing down. The spaceship won't stay there, so my capsule will just come back down and burn up if I haven't taken and done that. And I haven't researched re-entry either or landing, so it's obviously going to be destroyed. So I'm thinking I'm just costing myself money this way. But I haven't researched my Atlas rocket, and I got to take and do that. You guys see what I'm talking about? That's why this game is so intense, because you're like, okay, well, I need to do this. But to do this, I got to do this, and then this, and this, and this. And it's just a little train, and you're trying to figure out the best way to do it. And I guarantee you I don't have the best way to do it. I just kind of throw shit up at the cards and see what sticks. Okay. Damn, maybe I should go ahead and research landing or re-entry as well, so I can try to save some money by not having to repurchase some of this stuff. Because if I do that, re-entry is draw a random outcome when heat shield faces the clouds. Your clouds are here. Okay, so the clouds don't start until there. So if I launched it to there and it dropped back down, I'd be all right. And this is landing. Okay, so I can research landing with that. I wouldn't have to worry about re-entry just yet. Maybe it'd be cheaper for me to just launch a well, no, I got to do the capsule to get the other one. Which way are we going to do this? All right, well, since I'm going to need both of these, I'm just going to go ahead and research them. So we'll spend another 20 mil. We'll grab them and set them right here. We'll throw our cards on it. 3 for landing here, 3 for re-entry. It sucks you guys are watching this, but I haven't got much going on over there. I'll tell you what, let's just back the camera up a little bit until we get something launched so you guys can see what I got going on down over here, the items that I'm researching and my little stockpile of crap. Okay, so this is all the stuff I've got left. I've got $3. I can't really do much with 3. I should go ahead and buy something though with it to make sure I spend it. What do you think, rockets or Tell you what, we'll go ahead and buy ourselves another capsule and another rocket, so we've got them ready to go. Spend our last 3 and we'll take over to 1960 and grab ourselves our money back for our next mission. Okay, so we're going to take and grab this Vostok and set it over here at another spaceship. What do we think? All right, so I've got these researched completely, is what I mean when I say that. All of these are technically researched, but when I'm like saying research, I mean like all of these starter cards are cleared off. And that's really my goal there, is to get those cleared off. Life support, rendezvous, Atlas rocket, re-entry, landing. Oh, I'm burning through so many turns just trying to get everything researched. It just doesn't seem like you ever have enough money. It's kind of like real life. Okay, I'm going to need a bunch more of those rockets to take and get him up there. So a weight of 4, or a weight of 6, rather, for the Atlas rocket and the Vostok. 6 times 8 is 48. But if I add another Atlas rocket to it, that takes the weight up to... I'm blanking out. That takes the weight up to 10, 80. I'm just not getting enough thrust. I don't think Atlases are going to do it for me, because I'm not getting the kind of thrust to weight ratio that I would need to actually get them up there. Let's see if this thing, my little difficulty chart, tells me anything. Yeah, it doesn't look like difficulty 8 I'm going to do with an Atlas. I'm really going to need a Soyuz or Saturn, and a Saturn costs 15. So basically I can buy a Saturn rocket and launch it for all that. Let's see, well, I got proton rockets as well. That Soyuz is 9. Proton rocket is 6. Well, that might work. 6, 2 is 8, 8 times 8. My math is breaking out on me. You guys don't hate on me. 8 times 8 is 72, I want to say. No, not 72. Okay, I can do it with a proton rocket. That, I think, will work. That we can get it up there. Okay, we're going to slide back over because we're getting ready to launch now to where we're going. Okay, so if I take and research now the proton rocket for 10 and buy 1 for 12, that'll leave me 3, and I can buy some other crap. All right, let's do that. Proton rocket is one of the ones from the expansion pack as well, so that is not in the base game, just in case you're wondering. Proton rocket is this one, costs 12, has a thrust of 70, and it's got a weight of 6. All right, so that would give me a total of 8. And yeah, 8 times 8 is 64. So that will do it. Proton rocket plus the Vostok will get me all the way to Earth orbit. My shitty math. All right, we got that. And we're just going to have to see if I fail this. All right, what else do I want? Oh, I want to have the money on hand to take and research these proton rockets. With as expensive as they are, I want to take and make sure I'm doing that. So what I want to spend my last 3 on, I'm going to need something. We'll buy ourselves a supply and another capsule. All right, so we're starting to build up our supplies in case we need them. That takes care of that. We're going to tick over to our next turn. You guys can see now how quickly these turns really start to bug out on you. We've got our money. Now we're actually finally going to launch something. Right, let me slide her up a little bit, show you guys what I'm going to do. I'm going to take and launch. And this is, I'm telling you right now, this is not the smart way to play this game because I'm so like trying to get up there as quick as I can. I am launching this weight 8 item, okay? Proton rocket of 6 plus a Vostok capsule for 2, total of 8 on a difficulty maneuver of 8, okay? 64 thrust is required. I'm producing 70, so I'll actually get there. It's I know someone's going to be in the comments like, Gimpy, you could have got that Vostok there by doing this. And like, yeah, I know. So we're going to go there for one shot. We're going to spend our rocket. And hopefully we do not have a critical failure, because if we do, Gimpy is going to be upset. So, success, success, success. No! Son of a bitch. Explosion destroys spacecraft. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, so that goes there. We lost that. We'll spend 5. Alright, that takes care of that. And boom! That got taken out. I've got 20 million left. If I buy another proton rocket, I can only pay to take and fix a failure. A success will stay, but I won't be able to do it. Okay, we're going to try it anyway because I want to try to get that thing up there. So we're going to take and pay for another proton rocket. That will leave us 8 million. We're going to attach that to our other spacecraft, and we're going to attempt to launch that one into Earth orbit. Same thing, doing a research. Success! Yay! Woo! But not too much yay, because that actually has to stay. Now, I'm going to take the 2 that are left and I shuffle them up, and they go back on top of it because I did not pay to remove that success. And that's what I'm talking about, is you have to take and pay to remove those success markers from those success cards, rather, from your decks when you're doing your research to, succeed. So you can find out what that last card is, basically. But we finally did what we were trying to do. It only took us forever. We got ourselves to here. Now, the reason I did that is because I wanted to take and research life support, okay? And I want to be able to research things like landing, re-entry, and the only way I'm going to research re-entry is by just dropping that spaceship back in, which I can, because you can see right here on the bottom of the Earth orbit card, it has a, Earth orbit 0 difficulty maneuver, so I can just drop him straight back in to research re-entry. But I'm going to keep him up there long enough to take and try to research life support. All right, so I'm going to research it. Life support, first card, success. Unfortunately, again, I don't have the money to take and pay, so I'm going to have to shuffle my cards up here to take and do it again. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. All right, I got $8 left. What do I want to spend my money on? I need to buy something useful. Have I got Soyuz rockets? No, I don't have Soyuz rockets. I don't have enough to buy another research. And those proton rockets are better thrust to weight ratio versus a Soyuz. So it looks like the only stuff I'm really going to be buying is smaller rockets for independent staging, and probably protons and Saturns, because I don't really, I don't think those Soyuzes put off enough thrust to really make it worth it. Definitely not the Atlas. Okay, let's see. What can I get for 8? Well, I've got one Vostok capsule left. It's the cheapest and lightest one I can get. If I buy another one of those, that's $2. I've got a few Juno rockets left. Some Atlas. What do I want to get? I might as well get some supplies stocked up. Okay, well, let's just do this. Let's get some supplies. So we'll get another Vostok, and that's for 2, and then we'll buy 6 supplies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That way I've got supplies at the yin yang. I won't have to worry about them at all in this game. And I'll let that complete my turn. We'll kick around over. I am burning out turns so far. Ooh, hold on, let's see. We might have completed a mission. No lunar mission. We're close to doing a man in space. If I had done that with an astronaut, I would have had man in space. So I didn't have that. Man to Earth orbit and back. Haven't done that. I can do pretty much those at the same time. Well, actually, I think I can do suborbital space will count. So if I just launch a rocket up to there, I can complete that mission. Working probe capsule in Earth orbit. Okay, I got that one. So we're going to add that to our list of completed ones. And then our two big ones, man in space at the start of the year and to the moon. So if I can take and get somebody to orbit, I'll complete both of those missions. And in the process, actually, of getting a man to the moon, I will complete all three of the rest. So I'll pretty much complete everything in attempting to do that if I'm actually able to complete it. But I'm going to have to take some chances because I am running out of time, something fierce, when it comes to getting around over here to the moon. All right, let's see. What do we have left? Okay. I have one there. I've got some money so I can research life support. And that's my big thing is I want to take and research life support as much as I can to try to keep my guys alive. I need to get an astronaut to send up there. And the astronauts are cool. They have special abilities, basically. Is life support +1, supply, repair. Your engineers can take and help things out, like researching life support. Actually, yeah, damn, I should have sent him up there because I'm trying to research life support. And if I sent him up there, when I research it, he's going to take and provide that bonus. So if I draw a critical failure, it's only a minor failure, and a minor failure becomes a success. The pilots do similar. They'll help with landings. And then I think, what are the others? Medics, doctors. See, heal all astronauts so they can heal incapacitated astronauts if something bad happens to them. Okay. I'm going to have to just take a risk and send another space capsule up there. Oh, I wasted all that time. I should have just sent the astronaut with him. Yeah, I should have just done it. Because if I take and send him up there, I'm thinking, okay, maybe this turn I'll buy an astronaut and I'll buy myself another proton rocket. And I'll equip that on my other Vostok that I've got here ready to go. And then we'll just launch that sucker and we'll see if they make it. I don't remember. Did I draw a card for that proton rocket when I launched it the second time?
No.
That is Miss Gimpy.
Hello.
I am playing my space game, Miss Gimpy.
I just killed a spider.
Oh, I can't remember. All right, we're going to continue on. Excuse me. I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments if I did not draw a card for the proton rocket. I remember drawing one, but I don't remember if I drew two. Sorry, it's just my memory is not the best. So let's take and buy ourselves an astronaut. That costs 5. We'll take and spend that. And we will get Mr. Buzz Aldrin because he's going to help us research life support. So now he's one of the guys in our little stable.
It has actual astronauts?
Yes, it has astronauts.
Cool.
And then we will take and buy ourselves another proton rocket. And we'll equip that there. And we'll put Buzz on it. And we're going to take and do something really stupid and see if we can take and get that there. Okay, well, that's 8. I was thinking, crap, I got to put some supplies on that thing. If I put supplies on it, though, see, that's the thing, right? I was like, okay, if I put a rocket, like an extra rocket trying to help this proton rocket, that's not really going to do it because of the weight, because that's 8 and the Juno can't even get itself up there. So adding a Juno doesn't even do it. It's only half powerful enough. It can only get up into suborbital space. A Atlas rocket, let's see, 4 times 8 is 32. Atlas rocket can't do it either, so I have to go Soyuz or above. So it's going to take a second proton rocket on there to send supplies with Mr. Buzz. Damn. Okay. Let's take and what are we going to buy? I need to buy something. There's no reason to buy those lower rockets. They just don't do enough. Hate getting left with just 8 because I can't buy anything else to research. I could buy some better capsules. I could buy another astronaut. Could buy some supplies. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's instead first see if we can do some research just in case I need to check something. So, not rendezvous. I can research rendezvous when I get them up there. Let's try researching life support one more time, see what we get. We get success, but I don't have enough to do that, so we'll have to shuffle again. All right, I'm going to try it one more time, see if I can get a failure with my empty capsule to take and do it. Researching. Success. I'm almost starting to think that life support has nothing but successes, so I'm probably not going to worry about that as much because I've researched that a few times. Okay, we're going to do this one more time, guys. I'm just going to shuffle this up, and we're going to take and play with it and see what we get here. Okay, last research. If this comes up success, I'm not worrying about researching life support anymore. I'm just going to keep drawing it. Success. Okay, I'm guessing all 3 of these cards are successes. All right, hold up. Actually, all right, honey, verify that I'm looking away.
Okay.
All right, so I'm looking away.
He's
you guys
looking away.
can see. You guys can laugh at me in the comments.
You're not holding it for the camera if that's what you were trying to do.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to hold it in front of the camera. All right, so I'm not looking at it, but
Do you want me to hold it so they can see
no,
it?
that's it.
Okay.
I'm guessing that that's 3 successes on there. If it was 3 green cards, it's 3 successes. I'm wasting my time trying to research it. What else am I gonna buy? I guess I could just go ahead and get another astronaut and some other crap. Probably. Yeah, let's just take and we'll get Neil, Mr. Neil Armstrong here, in case we need him. He's 5. We'll grab a probe too, just in case we need it for anything. And just to spend the last $1, we'll grab an extra Juno rocket. Because remember what I said, if you don't spend it, you lose it. And that brings us to our next turn, 1963. We are just burning through time here. We got our little NASA spacecraft. It's just a little capsule. It's just hanging out there. And like I said, I can drop it back at any time. But I'm just leaving it out there in case I need it. Because if I wanted to, I could transfer supplies over to it and kind of just leave them there. Since it's a capsule, it can hold stuff. So if I can get some supplies up there, I can switch them out and then, have the other thing come back. So it's kind of like a little orbital space station for me for now. I'll tell you what, actually, I think I'm getting a little long in the tooth. What time is it? It's getting actually kind of late on this, so I think I'm going to call it here at the beginning of 1963, and we'll pick it back up probably tomorrow, and we'll see what we can do. I've got everything ready to go. We completed one mission, so our next goal is going to be to launch Mr. Aldrin up there, but I got to do some math to figure out what I'm going to do as far as rockets. I'm thinking I'm going to just buy an extra proton rocket and use 2 of them to just shuttle his butt straight to Earth orbit with some supplies. That's my thing. If it was just him, he's got no weight associated with him, no mass. So Buzz can just go straight up. But at the end of the turn, he'd die. He's got no supplies because he can't stay up there without any supplies. And I need at least 1 supply with him. Or I could, instead of sending Buzz on the first one, I could take and send a couple of proton rockets to send another Vostok up and have it have a bunch of supplies on it, because with 140 thrust, I should be able to get a fair amount of supplies up. Get those all up into Earth orbit, have them waiting. That way I can research at that time more proton rockets, or do proton rockets, rendezvous, re-entry, and landing, all researching as I'm coming back down. So yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do at the start of the next one. I'm going to take and try to do that, and I'll save Buzz for the next one. So you're going to go over here into the Vostok, and we're going to take and buy ourselves. Actually, so I remember, I'm going to take and go ahead and buy the proton rocket and put it there. Let's see. We'll grab our money back, and we'll grab ourselves a proton rocket, and we'll throw it there, and we'll just throw a couple of these supplies on it. And I'll figure out the math on it when we come back. But that way, I can throw that up, get all those supplies up into space, switch them out, or just leave them and let that fall back. It really doesn't matter. This thing isn't doing a whole lot for me now. But have one of them fall back. At that point, I can do some research on rendezvousing, re-entry, and landing, all the other good stuff that I need to do if I'm going to get a guy from Earth to the moon and back. Now, you guys have just watched me fiddle fart my way through this badly, might I add, just to get to this point. And I am struggling just to get from Earth, to Earth orbit with the right supplies and stuff that I need. I'm not even to the moon yet. All right. So that shows you how much game is actually in this box, because you've got Mercury, you've got the moon, you've got solar radiation to worry about, you've got Mars, you've got Venus, you've got some moons over there, Phobos and stuff like that you can go check out. And these areas can be explored. That's why you've got surveying research you can do. And then when you add into it the extra planets that are, way farther back there, such an outstanding game. Real brain burner. It's a calm game. It's easy going. The rules to it are simplistic, but it's a brain burner of how you're going to puzzle your way up there. Obviously, I'm not the best at it. I'm sure there's some people who have this thing min-maxed down to a science, take these rockets, ding, 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 together, put them together, shoot it up to space, and then do this, that, and whatever else you do. I kind of, guess my way through it. But fun game. Absolutely fun game. 100% recommended. I definitely love it. The components are good. The quality of the cards are good. I want to touch on some of the contents before I get off here real quick, because I haven't said as much about the components and the quality. Like I said, the little wooden pieces for the game are very nice. You've got these, and then you've also got little wooden time tokens, and these will come into play when you're going out to some of your farther reaches, and it takes time because you can't just go to Mars or go to Venus. It takes your spacecraft a little while to actually get there, and you have to account for that with little time tokens. It comes with a D8 as well for the occasions that you do need it. Like I said, the only thing that's on the cheaper side is the paper money, because people don't care for paper money as much as they used to back in the day. But the rest of it, outstanding component quality. I love how the cards line up together into little planets. You've got the little outline of Earth here, then you've got the outline of the moon and Venus and Mars and everything else, and it lines up so you're actually feeling like you're looking at the solar system instead of just a bunch of cards lined up. Anyway, yeah, definitely recommend. I'm definitely going to play through this a little more. I'll be back and we'll play through the second half of it, and we'll see if Gimpy can actually get to the moon. At least I guarantee I'm not getting to the moon and back. If I get to the moon and the guy doesn't die, I'll be thrilled at that point. All right, well, you guys take care. I'll see you in the next one.